show sponsored by the Office of Champagne USA, asking you to join the growing movement of consumers demanding truth in labeling in wine. Go to www.champagne.us to sign the petition.
Anthony, fais un sourire. Bonjour. We consider that even if winemaking is important, I think the key part of our process remains the viticulture. We are very proud to have been able to have a crew of pickers which is quite loyal to the house. But in fact, there is only one way to do this. You pay them well. And they come back. Exactly. Because it's not a very funny job. I did that when I was younger. And after a couple of days, your back is really hurting. The general idea of our viticulture system is just about yield management. We consider that yields in Champagne are generally too high or far too high for many reasons, which are mostly economic. You can't make super wines with high yields. I think the terroir is critical to the quality of every wine. Champagne is included. It simply means that the terroir is quite a mystery because we don't know exactly why, but we simply know it exists. We know by experience that this vineyard is better than this one. It's a blend of microclimate, soil, exposure, subsoil, and it's true that where Champagne is located, which is far north, we obtain, for instance, if we compare to Burgundy, which use the same grape varieties as us, but more south, we are reaching, I think, our physiological ripeness with less alcohol and more acidity, but we are still developing full aromas with less alcohol, and that's what makes Champagne different. In fact, as we are located in Premier Cru and Grand Cru villages, we can use only two sorts of pruning. We can use by law, we can use Chablis, which is 3 canes pruning that is used generally for Chardonnay, as the name indicates. And we can use Cordon for black grapes. Cordon in English is translated as something like rope, because in fact the vine looks like a rope. If you take the best winemaker in the world, you give him better grapes, you will make a better wine. That's the reason why terroir, and at the end, what the terroir produces is more important than anything else. You can learn to become a good winemaker or a good enologue. The terroir is there. And if it was not true, you could make Champagne everywhere in the world, or you can't. The reason why that vine is differently pruned than the other one, that because when we took control of it about 7 to 8 years ago, it was black grapes, as it is Pinot Meunier, pruned in Chablis. And that's one of the plague of the region. Some people, to get more yield, are using Chablis pruning for black grapes. So the first thing we have had to do was to move the pruning from a Chablis pruning to a Cordon pruning. Yes, this is Pinot Noir. So it's a vine that we have, I would say, carefully managed and trained since the beginning. And it's for us, it's a quite ideal vine because you can see that the yield is not too high. Of course, you always have a few exceptions. Look at that one. It was a huge amount of fruits, you don't know why, but on average, the yield must be around 12 tons, and which is quite good because the vine is young, planted in 1993. But you can see it's very well aerated, a lot of space between the bunches. You can see them, which means that the wind can go around, so it dries well. And you can see that there is almost no botrytis. We have had the worst summer in 30 years in terms of rain. So we decided to begin to cut the Pinot Meunier, which were ripening a bit faster than the two other grape varieties, but which were also beginning to be attacked by botrytis. So we decided to do the less good first, and then to cross our fingers to expect some good ripeness of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. This is botrytis, but it looks bad. But in fact, this botrytis is not that bad because it's not dry yet. So in fact, it's a fungus above alive berries, if you want. The worst would be this, but dry, so in a couple of days. In Champagne, we make white wines mostly from black grapes, and that's the reason why if you buy grapes too far from your place, you can't control the pressing because you don't carry grapes over long distances, because you can imagine 40 or 50 kilometers in a truck, you would get jam arriving at the press. The vertical pressing, in fact, is smoother because of its shape, and mostly for three reasons. The first advantage you are getting with such a press compared to a cylinder is when you load, the grapes don't fall from high. Two, when you compare the shape of this to a narrow cylinder, your grapes cover a larger area, which means that you are getting a better self-filtration of the juice through the grapes before it pours out of the press. And three, you are getting an advantage also when you have to do an operation that we call retrousse. Some people say in English forking over. It's an operation that you make because you can't extract the juice in a single pressing. It's a bit like when you press an orange by hand. If you do this, you don't get all the juice. You have to do that. So now we use also the modern technique where it matters. And in fact, we have all presses are equipped with a brand new hydraulic system, which is computer controlled. But we have the smoothness and the regularity and the precision of the pressure increase of the new system. And because of this, it helps us to regulate the flow of juice much better. So it means that we can delay the time at which we will be obliged to fork the grapes over and diminish the number of forking over. I'm always surprised that all my guests have just a little sip. Personally, I drink at least 2 liters per day. You know, it's just very natural fruit juice. It's very good. This will be transferred from here directly to the sedimentation tanks that we will see now. So the juice will be transferred in those tanks, and you know they are not clean. And you have seen they are not transparent at all. You have in fact many solid things swimming in it. And the sedimentation is just to give time to the mast to clear by itself. We don't want to clean our wines just 24 hours. We don't add any enzymes. We don't do that at cold temperature, just gravity, that's it. And you will see during our winemaking process, we will always try to keep as much substance to our wines as possible. But for us, the wood will interest us when it doesn't smell oak anymore. So why do we use wood? Because of what the wood allows, which means an exchange between the wine inside and the atmosphere outside. And then because of the shape of the barrel. So here we will do the alcoholic fermentation. And we also do the malolactic fermentation. The house style is something very difficult to describe. Here at Jacquesson, the house style is nothing more than the taste of the two brothers running the company, Laurent and myself. And it's true that we try to make the wines we like.